Hi, 6th grade. This week we're going to be working on a little more statistics, looking at quartiles and box and whisker plots. This is actually a redo of the video we already made due to, we'll call it a comedy of errors. The old video is gone and we're making a new one and we're going to try to make it pretty much exactly the same. You know how that always works. Anyway, let's take a look at this stuff. When we're looking at quartiles and box and whisker plots, there's a hint as to what this is all about right in the first word. Quartiles. That sounds a lot like the word quarter. Basically, whenever we're working with quartiles and creating box and whisker plots, we're taking a set of data and we're cutting it into quarters. So let's take some of my favorite data. I kept track of how many eggs each day my hens laid for the 15 days before the spring equinox. It makes a difference because chickens lay eggs according to how much light there is each day. And this is what I found. Now you can see these numbers are kind of all over the place. Earlier numbers were a little lower, later numbers were a little higher, but it's hard to make sense of it. So step one, just like almost always when we're looking at data, is we've got to put the data in order. And so you can see here that I had a couple days where I had only one egg. I had one day where I had 9 eggs and all the days that are in between. When we're creating a box and whisker plot or looking at quartiles, what we're going to do is we're going to take our list and we're going to cut it into quarters. Just like we do with bar models for fractions, to get quarters we're going to cut it in half, then we'll cut our halves in half. So to find the first half, we find the median. Since this is 15 numbers long, if I chose the middle number, there would be 7 others on each side. Or I can come in and go twink, 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 twink. Either way, we're going to find there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 numbers on each side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And 4 is my median. That's my halfway point. Now to find my quartiles, I'm going to take the bottom set of numbers and the top set of numbers and find what's in the middle with that. So we'll come in twink, twink, twink. There's the middle of the bottom set. Twink, twink, twink. Yes, the sound effects are necessary. There's the middle of the top set. These different numbers have names. Of course, the middle is the median. But since we're in quarters, we can kind of think of this a little bit like a number line. We have the first quarter, or 1/4 of the data. Second quarter is the median, or the middle. We could call that the second quarter, or the second quartile. The 3/4 point is the third quartile. And then we also have our minimum, our lowest number, and our maximum. Alrighty, Roo. So we have first quartile, second quartile, third quartile. There's also, you know math, we can't make do with just one name. The first quartile is also known as the lower quartile. And the third quartile is also known as the upper quartile. Once we've got our data in 4 equal parts, we can start making a box and whisker plot. For a box and whisker plot, we start with a number line that's going to be long enough to include all the numbers. Since my lowest number, my minimum is 1 and my maximum is 9, I'm just going to do a 0 through 10 number line just to make it pretty. It would make sense to most of the people who look at this. So we've got 0 and 10. In the middle is 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I tried to make some care to make them all the same size, but, you know, I'm human and I didn't use a ruler, so what you gonna do? I'm gonna make a little vertical line above my number line for each one of my quartiles at 3, 4, and 6. So 1, 2, 3, 1 at 4, 1 at 6. And I'll enclose these to make this the box of my box and whisker plot. Lower quartile, median, upper quartile. And then I'm going to send whiskers out to my minimum and my maximum. So I'll put a dot here at 1 for my minimum number and attach it with a whisker. And I'll put a dot out at 9 and attach it with a whisker. So you can see on this data set, it's pretty spread out. I've got very long whiskers and a fairly compact middle section. Now let's compare this to the box and whisker plot that I made for the 15 days after the equinox, and you'll see why I said that light matters. For the 15 days after the equinox, aren't you impressed that I made these number lines kind of the same length? The minimum before the equinox was 1. The minimum after the equinox was 4. So that's a pretty big difference considering the size of the numbers that we had. My maximum number is also my upper quartile number because I had so many days with 9 eggs. So I had a whole bunch of days here with 9 eggs, whereas over here I just had one kind of weird out there outlier. My median on the days before the equinox was 4. Here it's 6. Low quartile was 3. Here it's 5. Upper quartile before the equinox was 5. After the equinox was 9. When we have box and whisker plots, we can line them up and really compare the data. And you know me, I kind of geek out over graphs anyway. So 6th graders, that's box and whisker plots. Sorry if you tried to tune in and it was gone. Trust me, there were a whole lot of mistakes that were made by numerous members of the family that made that happen. We've all accepted that. We've apologized to each other. We've accepted apologies and we've moved on. We do ask for your apology or your forgiveness and patience as well. We'll get this uploaded as soon as we can. And Katie's peering around at me. Hey, we all had a part in it. And have a great week. Bye-bye.